Celebrity True or False.
You can't handle the truth.
There you go.
Great.
All right, first up, Celebrity True or False with Tony Hale. First up, you are occasionally recognized as the star of the famous Volkswagen commercial featuring your dancing to the song Mr. Roboto. Mm-hmm. Is that true or false?
I'm currently recognized for it?
Or you're often recognized as it?
I'm not.
Okay. But you were... That's false! See, everybody thinks we can only give
false.
true. You're great.
That's false.
See? You're false? Nobody
I'm
comes up to you?
often No, I'm never recognized for that.
Ever? Fantastic. Can you...
What if you just listed all my credits and I just go, nope. Never recognized that.
By the way, it would be a first, but that would be outstanding. We don't mind being wrong. This is from the internet. We're not claiming these to be true.
This is true or false.
This is why. That's exactly. It's not like what's...
Sorry, I'm showing some skin today, guys. I apologize.
You look great, man. I do love the shoes and the socks and all of it together.
I went a little Pippi Longstocking today.
So, do you know the song "Mr. Roboto" to this day? Like, to this day, can you?
Domo arigato bisto babato. But also, fun fact, it was between. Domo. I can't stop staring at myself. Is that narcissism? Maybe. It was a difference. It was a choice between that and Rock Me Amadeus.
Wow.
And they chose Mr. Roboto.
It was both? Did you do the commercial as both? And then they just, edit room made last decision?
But in my audition, I remember auditioning with Rock Me Amadeus, and I guess they saw that and they were like, scratch. And they said, we're doing Mr. Roboto.
So, okay.
And another fun fact, Phil Morrison directed that commercial, and he directed a movie called Junebug.
I've heard of that fantastic film, and I've seen it. So, but just shows your range that you're able to audition for Rock Me Amadeus. They switch you up to Mr. Roboto, and you still nailed it.
They just see me and go, he's crazy.
He's crazy. But you're not often recognized for that at all.
No, I would say never.
That's false. Next one, Celebrity True or False with Tony Hale. True or false, you fought through nerves shooting an episode of The Sopranos. That's true.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
I thought, look
at you.
Hello. My gosh.
That's you. What are you doing in this episode of The Sopranos?
Just admiring my young skin. Hopefully. So I played Uncle Junior's nurse giving him chemo during his cancer treatments. And I was so nervous. When I get nervous, my hands shake.
Okay.
That's how my nerves manifest itself. Yes. By the way, not shaking today because I'm fully relaxed.
Look at you.
And but when I got on set, my hands were shaking so violently that I was paranoid, because can you imagine a nurse coming up to you shaking, giving you chemo treatment?
Yes.
Terrifying. And by the grace of God, they just calmed down. And right before I did my take.
Was it Dominic Chianese that made you nervous, or what was it?
I think it was just the whole idea. I'd just done commercials. I'd done very little TV, and it was The Sopranos. Like, I was like, this was like the height of it.
Of course.
And like that and Sex and the City were like the shows in New York to get. And I just got this little role, and I was like, Tony, don't screw it up. And my hands were just like, when I did plays, I would have to put weights in the cups because my hands would shake.
Damn.
From cups, yeah.
No kidding.
I'm a broken vessel, guys.
That was my next true or false. True or false, you're a broken vessel.
I am a disaster.
Let me just cross that one
Tony,
off.
Tony, you went from The Sopranos right to Sex and the City right after that.
So you did, despite the shaking hands, you still got a call?
Oh, I started booking
Darren Star's like, get
this.
that shaking hand guy?
Yeah. I was a photographer's assistant, and my name was Tiger. On Sex and the City.
That's true.
And I was thrilled to be on it.
Can confirm?
Can confirm.
That confirmed, yeah. Tiger.
Oh, so you were on.
Which, by the way, tracks.
Fantastic. Tony Hale, Celebrity True or False. Next one. While shooting Arrested Development, you often went home inadvertently still in character as Buster Bluth. Is that true or false?
Yes, that is true, because my wife, Buster was always in a state of defense and very sensitive.
Yes.
And he was a live wire of emotion.
Yes.
And I would come home, and if my wife would say something like, did you do this? I'd be like, no, I didn't. Like, I was still reacting as Buster. I was like, why is it like very hypersensitive? And she was like, we've got to leave Buster at work. I can't be married to that.
Certainly when you got in a fetal position on the floor
exactly.
at home.
And then I started dressing in pastels, and I got really... No, but
you started taking your family to the banana stand. It's really weird, man.
Weird.
The whole thing is weird.
I know, but it was, so I definitely took it home, and then stopped.
And so, who was the one that cracked everyone up the most on that show?
The one who cracked me up the most was Will Arnett, who played Job.
I mean, by the way, that just cracks me up even hearing that.
And the fact that I think somebody called him Gob, and he was always like, "It's Job." But this, you take, obviously Will Arnett is so funny, but that mixed with the resonance of his voice,
yes,
he just has that deep, just sound. It was so funny to me. And just, he was so mean to Buster, and it was just a joy.
And David Cross too,
oh
I
my
imagine,
gosh.
right?
David Cross, when he would show up as Blue Man, and he thought, well, one of the best jokes was that he joined the Blue Man group because he thought it was a support group for depressed men. Which is like, if there's not a better joke. And then he was like Mrs. Featherbottom, because it was like a takeoff of Miss Doubtfire. And David Cross, poor thing, he was in blue paint all the time, and he was having to take showers before he went home. And then he just went through it, but he was great.
We had Henry Winkler in this chair
I
over the
love that
summer.
man.
And I was kicking myself. Obviously, I could ask him about a million things in his career.
Sure.
I forgot to ask him about Arrested Development.
You know what? He has always been an example to me. When I first moved to LA, I didn't know. I had that impression like, oh, does everybody become a douchebag in this business and get jaded and just like whatever, my wrong narrative in my head. And I met Henry, and he is just the kindest. And I mean, he's been in it for decades, and he is still so gracious and kind and giving. And it's like, I was like, oh, it's possible.
Now, when he was here and he was talking about how, his German-speaking dad, or Austrian, whatever, told him that he should tell Gary Marshall, you should water ski. And that's why he wound up on water skis jumping the shark. And then the shark thing came to be. And he told that whole story.
Wow.
And then he worked Blue. He said, but we were on the air for 5 years, #1 show after all that jump of the shark. So F him. And he said the actual word. And I'm like, oh my God. It came out of nowhere. It was like the ultimate curveball.
Oh, I love it. I love when he jumped the shark and Arrested.
Well, that show never did that, sir.
No, but he did. Do you remember?
Did he really do
There was
that?
a scene, he was making a joke from what he did then.
Yeah.
There was a shark laying on the deck, and he jumped over it.
I never saw that.
His character did, yeah.
There was only, I guess, 500 episodes of the show, so
Yeah,
I guess I must have missed that one. Last one for you, true or false. The writers on Veep wanted you guys to improvise scenes before shooting the scripts that were finalized.
We would meet for like 2 weeks. Oh, there's Julia. She's the best. We would meet for 2 weeks, and it was improvising, but it was more of like they wrote the scripts and they just wanted to see if they gelled, like if stuff was working. And they just weren't very precious of the words. So if we came up with stuff, they would be open to putting it in and bits, and so much fun stuff came out of that.
So when you just saw Julia Louis-Dreyfus, what was your? You got a good story for her on the set?
I love her, but also both of us would break so much. And one of my favorite stories is I one time couldn't stop laughing, and she says, Tony, you're not watching the show, you're in the show. And I was like, yeah, but it's a funny show. And many times I would start laughing, and since I whispered in her ear so much, I would just laugh right into her ear. And she's like, okay, you gotta like settle down, man. But when you're that close to someone like her and she's doing all that subtlety, it's like, it's impossible not to laugh.
I miss the show.
Oh, I do too. But whoever saw the finale, there's this, we did kind of a flash forward way ahead, and there's this huge gap of time in between, and I'm like, I would do anything to go back and have Dave Mandel write whatever happened in that gap of time, because I think we all would love to be together again.
Right.
Like a Veep movie?
That would be...
Oh, a movie, sure. Anything to do with those
Fill
guys
the Gap
would be
movie?
All right.
Yeah.
And you'd be all in on that, right?
Oh, I'd be totally all in.
Whose idea was it for you to jump on the stage at the award show?
Oh, that was Julia's. She called me that day and she said, if I win, I want you to come and carry my purse. And of course, in my head, I'm thinking, you are going to win. So terrifying. And then she just pulled me up there, and we had come up with a little bit. And then we had the idea of me whispering to thank her family.
And I just love your body language there. I mean, you are so in your character.
Well, I just
right
I worshipped her. And also, people have always said, "Oh, was it hard to hear the abuse from Selena to you?" But Gary just heard poetry. Like she would never say mean things to him in his mind. So he never even heard it, I don't think.
Well, I mean, and just, I mean, I wish I could, ask you your favorite curse word from the show, but we are on many other networks.
I will say,
but, I mean,
Jonah Ryan got the worst. Who played Timothy Simons. Like, I think he was one time somebody said to him, "You just have an odd shape." He's like, well, how do you not? That hurts, man. And then the thing is, sometimes people would make it up. And I remember Reed Scott, who played Dan.
Yes.
He comes out of nowhere. It's not even scripted. To me, he goes, "Hey, cow eyes." And I'm like,
wait a minute.
Cow eyes? Like this? What are you talking about, man? This isn't.
Because if that's not scripted,
I know.
then.
And of course, for the next 2 weeks, I'm looking in the mirror like, are they cow eyes? Do I have cow eyes?
Oh, my gosh. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.